Hey everybody, just thought I would make a short video. Okay, not a short video. I'll make a regular size video, say a couple things. Sometimes we have to move on.
Turn left.
Sorry, got my stupid GPS on.
Turn left.
It's really cool though, it's in the Riddler's voice
In
from
0.1 miles, turn left.
the comic book, that one. Anyways, it's gonna do it again a couple times, so, just listen. That's fine. You can listen all you want. Anyways, he's gonna say something again in a minute, so I'm gonna get interrupted, but we'll just woosa for a second. Just woosa. Gonna be alright.
Turn left.
So annoying. Anyways, we all kind of got this this thing where when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're living your life, you're doing your thing, you're right in the warm spot, right in the smooth going, like when you're in the water and you run into that warm spot and you're like, did someone pee here or is this just perfect water?
In half a mile, turn right.
Well, there's that. And but what we do as people is we most of the time we don't like change. Most of us, we don't like change unless we're the ones that just like decide we're going to change, right?
In a quarter of a mile, turn right.
It's totally different if I want to just choose to do blah blah, but if I'm forced out of what I'm in and then I fall into blah blah, then that's not okay because I didn't choose it. We want to be in control. Well, just like this guy's about to talk again in our video. Here's the thing. Okay, let me tell you a little story. Okay, it's story time. Story time.
Turn right.
There's a tree that was growing next door to our house. Not quite close to our house, like in between the house next to us and us. It wasn't really our tree, but it was right next to the visitors parking. So if anyone was parked there, that tree was right by them. Well, it's been sitting there and it's been dying, and I knew it was dying, and I kept saying somebody needs to cut that down because it's going to wind up falling on something. It's going to be bad. Don't want that to happen. So somebody needs to take care of that. And no one was, so because no one listens to me. But I don't know, a few weeks ago, a branch broke off during a storm. A pretty big branch. So the park where I live, they come out and they chop up the branch that fell and they clean up and they move everything out. But they left the tree just standing there. And I was like, man, they should have cut that tree down because it's going to wind up falling down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the lead into what I'm going to say. So that tree was sitting there. Nobody wanted to take it down because nobody was willing to change. A change, oh my gosh, we got to change our whole landscape. How are we going to do that? We don't want to change. And, sometimes we want to change, like I really wanted them to take the tree down. And sometimes we just leave it there a little longer. It's still cool, let's not take it down. And that's what we do a lot of times in our life is we know it's got to go. We know that's a dead end, but we just can't seem to just make that extra push and just say, okay, it's gone. I'm not doing this. Time to move on to the next thing. We have so much trouble doing that. But sometimes we don't have any choice. Like that tree, we hung on to that tree all summer long. Leaves never came out on it this year. It was dead dead on arrival kind of thing this spring. And no one was going to get rid of it. So it's just like, okay, there's that ugly landscape. It's just going to sit there. And we're just going to sit here with it because we don't want to change. Well, last night, I don't know if any of you other people got what we got, but the wind picked up. And I was in my room, which is closest to the tree, and I have a big bay window in front of, in part of my room. And when the wind comes in, a lot of times it comes toward my big bay window, toward me. And last night was no exception. I went outside because our neighbors were being obnoxious and playing music really loud, and I went outside to see which neighbor it was. Turned out it was several neighbors. But anyway, at midnight or so, maybe a little later, I went outside to see who was the idiot that was playing their music too loud and being inconsiderate of everybody else's feelings. And I went outside and the wind was blowing this warm breeze. And it was nice. I mean, like, it felt really good. But in the back of my mind, I was saying, that's kind of the breeze that you feel just before a big storm. When I lived in Arkansas, you could feel that kind of breeze coming, and you knew it was tornado weather. You knew you were about to get hit, and it's real, like a peaceful, warm breeze, and then still, and then the tornado. And that's kind of the way it was when I went outside. It was just a nice, warm breeze, and it was pretty outside. And at that time, you could still see some stars. And you might have been able to see them all night, I don't know. But I'm in my room. I'm still being kind of, grumpy about the neighbors being stupid. And, or I should say being inconsiderate. They might be smart, I don't know. But, so I still, kind of snippy about that. And I hear, it sounds like a train coming, like people will say a tornado does. It sounds like a freight train coming barreling toward my house. And all of a sudden I hear the windows pop, pop, pop. And I thought the windows were breaking in because I heard this pow, like this big, I can't even make the noise. I know you're going to love my sound effects. But anyway, it was like this big sound. And I thought it was my room caving in. And it scared me because it was loud enough and it was bad enough, and the wind was like this big, huge gust, like you wouldn't believe. Thought we're not going to be able to take more than one or two of those. And there never was another one that was as strong as that one. But I didn't go outside. I didn't see what was happening. I did nothing. I told my parents this morning that sound was so, the wind was so harsh and strong, and I could feel it in my room. But the worst part was the sound. It sounded like the house was caving in. Well, come this morning, I find out that what was happening was that tree was being blown down, and it was a big crack, and from that big gust of wind. So, as this is going on in my life or whatever, this morning when I see that tree is down, that whole landscape looks different. I mean, someone's going to have to come along and clean up, the mess, because it's not always neat and clean when we go through change. It's not always prim and proper. Sometimes we're kicking and screaming and spitting and whatever else because we don't want to change. Well, there's an aftermath from that tree going down, and someone's going to have to come along and clean it up, not me. But somebody's going to have to come along and clean that up. But the landscape has changed, and we can't do a single thing about it. We lost that tree against our will. Nobody wanted to, cut it down. I mean, I wanted it down, but I wasn't cutting it down either, was I? Nobody was willing to cut it down. Nobody was willing to make the change themselves until nature came in and blew that sucker down. And now it's gone. The landscape has changed. And, once we get used to it being gone, we might actually like that tree's not there anymore. I know I'll feel safer when people park in the visitors parking, because I was always afraid it was going to fall in somebody's car. And sure enough, it blew down on top of the visitors parking. Nobody was parked there, thank God. It happened late at night. But if it was during the day and someone was visiting us, they would be in that parking place. So, yeah, it fell over both parking places, so whoever was parked there would have got hit. So anyways, Wade is pretty smart. Ooh, that Wade. Anyway, sorry, stupid. So here's the deal. We all do that, kicking and screaming. We don't want to change. If it's something that we just we come up with and we decide to go for, that's not the kind of change I'm talking about. But there's been so many times where I'm comfortable in the ministry I'm in, or in the life I'm living, the job I'm at, whatever, and along comes this big wind and shakes everything up. And in my life, I seldom see just one tree down. It's usually like a whole grove of trees are all down and twisted and broken, and change comes. And sometimes I'm left to clean it up. Sometimes other people are left to clean up the mess that I make because I fought change so long. So, the moral of the story is, if you've got an old, dead, rotten tree that's hanging there, just sitting there waiting to fall down, it's over. You know it is. But you're hanging on so tight because you're afraid of what might be out there once your tree goes down. Well, let's not, let's have a little bit of, intestinal fortitude, change is going to happen whether you like it or not. Wouldn't it be better to be part of that change, where you're involved in it instead of just a bystander, just a spectator? Anyway, all that is something to chew on. It's Sunday. This is Wait a Minute. I'm Wade McAllister. Thanks. Bye.